Hey, what's up? You're watching The Pitch. Welcome to the 26th episode of The Pitch with Fox, Beatoms, and Mitch. I'm your host, John Fox, alongside here with Beatoms and Mitch Sabatelli. Now, we've been doing this for half a year now, and we will continue with this. Now,
at least 2 more weeks.
Yes, at least 2 more weeks. All right. Now, today's episode, we are dedicating
MLB.
just to the MLB, upcoming MLB season. We're taking a break from March Madness here, in other sports, because today is our MLB special.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, we have World Series picks, 2011 award predictions, in-depth analysis, and more coming your way for this 2011 baseball season. Now, number one, before we get to that, this historic offseason is finally coming to a close, seeing that spring training is coming to a close.
Yep.
Now, you guys, give me one big winner and one big loser of the offseason.
My winner is definitely the Red Sox. They got that power bat, Magon. He's going to be peppering that Green Monster all season. I think he's going to put up Albert Pujols type numbers in that lineup. He hit his first home run of the spring training yesterday. He's got the swing. He has a perfect swing for Fenway. I just noticed it. And Cole Crawford, he's another catalyst in the top of the lineup. He's going to go with Ellsbury. I think it adds depth to that lineup. I think Red Sox are definitely the biggest winner. I think their numbers going to translate to the regular season. I think it's going to be a good year for the Red Sox.
I think I'm agreeing with you for the Red Sox, but I think another big winner is the Phillies.
Phillies too, yeah.
They got Cliff Lee, and more importantly, they got rid of Jason Worth, because they would have had to give him the same kind of money that he got to keep him, and he's not worth it. So
the big thing is their offense, though. How is Jason Worth going to? How is that going to affect the offense? Chase Utley, he's hurt too.
I think
the offense is going to take a step back.
I think their offense is going to be fine. Their offense is always 2 steps ahead of everyone else, and now they're only going to be 1 step ahead.
It's hard to not like Ruben Amaro this year. That was a great job by him at getting Cliff Lee, and it was hard to get him.
Halliday, Cliff Lee, and Hamels. That's probably the best 1, 2, 3.
Best 4 of all time, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. So I don't see how they, how they can't be happy with it.
Before we get to losers, I also like what the Brewers did. Getting Sean Markham, getting Zach Greinke. I think they have one of the best rotations in the NL right now. And to go wrong, we'll talk about later in the show. They just made another splash today. I think that lineup's very, very good. They got power, they got speed. They're a solid team in my mind. But my loser is definitely Anaheim, the Angels. I think Tony Regan's the GM, did a terrible job this year. They went after Cole Crawford. They went after Cliff Lee. They went after Adrian Beltre. They went after Rafael Soriano. Struggling in all of them. The big one in my mind is Cole Crawford. I think he would have been perfect for Los Angeles. He's that speed guy that Social likes. He's a scrappy hitter. He's perfect. He's a great defender. I think they missed out the boat. They offered him way too little money for Crawford. And really, I think they're my biggest loser, the Angels.
I agree with that, too. And I think the Yankees are a pretty big loser, too.
Yeah.
They did almost nothing.
Yeah, how could you not say they're a loser? They didn't get Cliff Lee. So that was their big goal. And they also made themselves look like fools with the whole Jeter thing, with the whole Mariano Rivera thing.
Yep.
I think Cashman made himself look like a fool. I think that whole organization took a step back this offseason. And anytime Russell Martin's your big-time guy, you got to say that's a loss of the season.
Yeah.
Rafael Soriano. Rafael Soriano saved it a little bit.
But, they need a starting pitcher. They still need it.
And, whether it's going to be Foster Carmona or Liriano later in the season, who knows.
But that could be too late, too.
Yeah, it is.
So,
all right, let's move on.
All right. Regular season 2011 predictions. We'll start by going over our division picks. Now, who wants to take the first one?
I'll take it.
All right, you can take it. We'll start with the AL East.
I'm going to go with the Red Sox. I think they're the solid team out there. I think they are the deepest team in the league. No shock, really. That lineup's slow, like I just mentioned. They're back healthy. Pedroia's healthy. Euclid is healthy. Ellsbury's healthy. And, I think Francona's going to get everybody all together. Once you get this lineup set, they're having a tough spring, actually, but I think that's just a misnomer. I think they're going to be a solid
spring means nothing.
Yeah, it does.
The Royals are first place. So.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a solid season for them. I think they're going to end up taking this pretty easily.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to argue that.
The Yankees have too many holes, especially in the rotation.
If the Yankees had done something with their rotation, then I would have said, maybe the Yankees, but I don't see them beating
I'll put it this way. If they got Cliff Lee, I think it would still be around a tie. That's how much the Red Sox have the advantage right now. And Cliff Lee would have been a major addition for the Yankees.
Yeah.
So you agree with Mitch? Yeah. All right. Brian, you can start us off with the AL Central.
In the Central, I'm taking the Tigers.
Tigers.
They up their lineup a little bit. They have a great pitching rotation. And
V-Mark.
Yeah, I think they're just going to come together, and it's going to be a very close race.
That's a tough division.
You got the Twins and you got Chicago, so
yeah,
it's a very tough division. But I think they'll edge it out.
Yeah, and they're another winner too. The Tigers. That was a solid pickup with V-Mark. They got them pretty cheap. But I'm going to go with the White Sox. I think they were another winner too. Adam Donnie's going to put serious numbers in Comerica. I think he's going to put around 45 home runs this year. He could put up MVP type numbers behind Canerco and Rios and Quinton. That's a solid lineup. I really like that rotation. I think Danks is solid. Burley, Jake Peavy, Gavin Floyd. I think they're real good. It's going to be a tight race. I'm going to go with the White Sox though. I think that lineup's too good, and I think Ozzie Guillen's going to do pretty good this year.
All right, now you start us off with the AL West, one of the hardest divisions to pick. Right?
Yeah, I'm going to make a little shocker. I'm going to say Oakland A's. I like what they did with getting Hideki Matsui, David DeJesus, and with that rotation, I think they could be a really good rotation this year. I think they're all going to break out. I think Gio Gonzalez, Brett Anderson. I think Brett Anderson's going to step up and be that ace. Trevor Cahill had a great year last year, and also Dallas Braden had a solid year. I don't think Trevor Cahill's going to be as good as he was last year with a sub-3 ERA, but I think Gio Gonzalez is going to improve. I think Brett Anderson's going to improve, and Braden's going to improve.
Cahill's not going to go to like a 4.50 ERA or anything like that. But
Billy Beane's a very underrated GM. What he has to work with in the A's, they don't have a lot of money, and like I just said, getting Willingham too, it's going to have power.
Just look at all the pitchers that they've brought into the league. They're very good at that.
Yeah, they're very good. You got Zito there. I think this rotation could be like what they have with Mulder, Hudson, Zito, and Harden. I think this is going to be the next big four. I think the A's are going to take that step. I don't think the
maybe
Angels.
Even 5.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think the Angels are good enough. The Rangers losing Cliffley, that's going to be a big drop. And Josh Willingham's going to put up some serious numbers there. And the A's, last year they were only 9 games back of the Rangers with a much worse team than they have now, and with the Rangers having Cliffley. So I'm going to say that's going to translate into a very close race between the Angels and Rangers, but I'm going to say A's prevail.
I'm taking the A's too, and I think this is probably the only team in the West that can say they have anything better than the Yankees. And if the Yankees aren't going to win the East, maybe they can't beat the Red Sox, but the Yankees are still probably going to win the wild card.
And Buster Olney is one of my favorite analysts. Actually said that the Oakland A's have in his mind the third best rotation in baseball behind the Giants and Phillies. And I
would completely agree with that.
I agree with that. I think Gio Gonzalez. We're going to talk about Braille players a little later in the show, but I think he's going to be a solid guy. Yeah, Brewers are up there too. But as far as the AL goes, they're right up there, right with the Red Sox and with everybody else. So
I love this pitching rotation because there's really no hole in it. You get 5. Yeah, they might not be like Cy Young contenders.
Yeah,
but
they're just solid pitchers.
They're all solid.
Kind of like the White Sox. The Danks, Gavin Floyd, Burley. But it's like we said, it's a solid rotation. Also, that bullpen's pretty good with Bailey and Ziegler. I like that team.
Well, Bailey's hurt for a little while, but
but when he gets back, and Garrett's a solid manager. So he can have a chance for manager of the year, in my opinion.
All right, now Brian, you can start us off with the NL East.
The NL East is a pretty bad division, but at the same time, there's 2 teams that really stick out. That's the Braves and the Phillies.
Yep.
I really want to pick the Braves, but I can't pick against the Phillies, so I'm going with the Phillies in this one.
Yeah, I almost agree with you completely. Except I think that actually the NL Central is the worst division this year after the Cardinals lost Wainwright. But I think that one of the most underrated teams this year, besides the A's, is the Braves. I think with that solid the pickup with Dan Ugla, I think we'll talk about the Braves a little bit more later in the show too. But I really like that Braves lineup, and that rotation's real solid. But I'm going to go with the Phillies too, especially in the rotation. That rotation is just going to carry them. Losing Utley's going to hurt. Losing Worth's going to hurt. And Dominic Brown, the guy's replacing Worth, is out. But I think that rotation's too strong for them to lose. I like the Braves taking the wild card there, but I'm going to have to take the Phillies really close. Actually, they're going to have around 95 wins, I think.
All right, now what about the Central?
And Central, like I said, I think that's a weak division. Cardinals losing Wainwright. I don't think the Reds are going to be as good as they were last year.
No.
Pirates are terrible, and I don't think the Cubs or Astros are just suck. And Cubs, I don't think are going to do anything this year either. I'm going to go with the Brewers. I like what they did with that rotation. Like
How
I
do
said,
you not pick the Brewers?
I know this is probably the easiest pick. I like what they did with Greinke and Markham in that rotation. That rotation's really good right now, especially
and
that lineup. Every time you have Braun, Fielder, Casey McGee, Ricky Weeks. The list goes on and on. Corey Hart, the lineup's very, very solid.
Corey Hart's another one that's out for
Yeah,
a while.
yeah, but I mean, he's a solid player. I like the Brewers easily in the Central, and they didn't do too bad last year either.
That's the good thing about the Brewers is that even though Corey Hart, he's one of their best hitters.
Yeah.
He's down for a few weeks, but it's not even going to affect them because of the division they're in.
Yeah, and they have. That's another thing. They're gonna put up a lot of wins because they're gonna be facing the Pirates, Reds. The Reds are another team. I think the Reds have a great offense, but that pitching rotation. I mean, anytime you have Edinson Volquez as your ace, who might not even pitch. I think that's sad. I think with Bronson Arroyo and Johnny Cueto there too. I don't think there's enough depth for that rotation. So I think as far as and the Cardinals have a solid lineup too, but losing Wainwright's really going to hurt. And if anyone can get a guy back, it's Dave Duncan, the Cardinals pitching coach. It seems like every year it's either Jaime Garcia, Adam Wainwright, Jeff Weaver a couple of years ago, Joel Pinheiro that comes from nowhere and helps the Cardinals get to the playoffs. But I mean, I think it's a little tough this year. I think the Brewers are going to win pretty easily.
I'm going to throw this out there. I think the Brewers are going to have at least 95 wins.
Ooh.
We're
going to be playing over and under later in the show, but I mean that would be a good one. I say they're around 90. And
I think they can do 95.
I don't think they're as good as a 90-win team, but just because they're playing such bad teams in that division, yeah, I like that.
I think they're like an 88, 89 win team in a normal division, but with this division,
if they're in the AL East or the NL East, they're putting up 85 wins or so. But I don't know, 90, 95 maybe in that NL Central.
Okay, finally the West.
The West is pretty open. The Giants made a name for themselves last year. I think they kept all their players intact, really, but I think they're going to go with the Rockies in this one. Dodgers are pretty solid too, but I think what I saw from Ubaldo Jimenez last year is I think he's ready to come up to stardom. I think he's going to be the ace of the future for the Rockies. And I like Cargo. I like Tulo. Anytime that's one of the best 1-2s in a lineup. And the NL West is a little weak division. Padres aren't going to be as good as they were last year without Agon in that terrible ballpark. I really like the Rockies this year. Like I said, Jimenez, they still got Aaron Cook, they got De La Rosa, and also Ulyss Chassin. I think he's going to break out this year. I think he's going to be a very good starting pitcher for them. Yeah, I think it's going to be around like the Indians last year with the CC Sabathia, Fausto Carmona. I think you can look at that with the Ubaldo and Chassin this year. I think they're really going to be a breakout team this year. I like the Rockies easily.
I like the Rockies too. I think it's going to come down to the Rockies and the Dodgers, believe it or not.
Yeah,
I don't have the Giants anywhere near there.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm not saying they're going to be 20 games out, but
I think it's a 3-team race between them three, but
I think that the Giants are just going to drop off towards the end.
You think the Padres, after that solid season, they're just done without Gonzalez? Lakers is hurt too. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much no hope for them. But
yeah, I mean, I really like the Dodgers, but I don't see them beating out the Rockies. But I see it being like 3-4.
Dodgers have a solid rotation too with Kuroda and Billingsley and of course Clayton Kershaw. It's a solid 1, 2, 3, but. Yeah, I'll go with the Rockies too. The one bad thing with the Rockies, I don't think that, like I said, that rotation is solid, but who knows about Ubaldo? I think he's going to step up. Maybe he takes a step back. Chances are he'll step up, but also, will Aaron Cook hold up? Will De La Rosa hold up? I think the one question mark is that rotation. If they can get, if Chassin steps up and becomes that number 2, I think it's no stopping the Rockies in the NL West. But if not, I think it's open.
Did we do the AL? Wild card?
No, yeah, we're doing wild card
now. So, who wants to take the AL wild card?
I'll take the wild card. I want to say it's the Yankees. I think it's going to be, but
if you say Baltimore, I'm leaving the show.
It's actually pretty much wide open for this.
Yeah.
You got
the AL Central's they could take the wild card.
Yeah, you got the Central. I mean. Tampa Bay.
Maybe Tampa.
Tampa Bay, maybe.
If Manny comes back and becomes a comeback player, I mean, that division, that alters that division right there.
Yeah.
Who are you going with?
I'm going with the Yankees, but I think Tampa Bay and I think whoever, Chicago or Detroit, whoever doesn't win is going to make a really good push for it, too.
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees have a lot of holes. I mean, they're really old, but, I mean, that lineup's really tough to stop. I see the Red Sox really opening the gap between 1-2 between Red Sox and Yankees there.
I don't think it's going to be a huge blowout, but I think it'll be like maybe 4 games.
I say the Red Sox are going to win close to 100 games. I say the Yankees are going to be around 90. So, I mean, 90-win team. I think that can get you enough for the wild card.
I see the Red Sox getting 97, Yankees 93.
Yeah.
Something like
I think the difference, the Yankees have a better chance because they're going to be playing Orioles, Blue Jays. The Central's a little bit harder. So, I picked the White Sox to win the Central, but maybe if the Yankees falter a little bit, I like the Tigers too. I think the Tigers can come back and win that wild card. Maybe the Rangers too in the West. But I'm going to go with the Yankees.
Alright, now, NL wild card.
NL wild card, I'm going to go with Atlanta Braves all the way. I think I'm going to talk about the Braves later, I said.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah, I really like Atlanta Braves. I think they're very underrated. I think that lineup, I mean, you go down, Nate McLeod, Martin Prado, Dan Uggla, Jason Hayward, Chipper Jones, Brian McCann.
I mean, Chipper Jones, 2-3 years ago won the batting title. Who says he can't?
He's a great player. I mean, he's 37, but, I think adding Dan Uggla, coming back from Sun Life Field or whatever, the Dolphin Stadium in Marlins, and going to Turner Field, which is a much better hitter ballpark. I think Dan Uggla can put up 300 average with 40 home runs as a second baseman in that Braves lineup. And I think Jason Hayward's got to mature this year. I think Freddie Gonzalez, I think that's a solid. They lost Bobby Cox as their coach. I think Freddie Gonzalez is going to step in and be that guy that can lead this team. He's a younger coach. I think it's going to alleviate the pressure for Jason Hayward. They can put him in the number 2 hole. That line's so deep, and that rotation's pretty good too. I really like Tommy Hanson this year.
Me too. I almost picked the Braves for my NL East.
It's close, yeah.
So I mean, it's going to be a very.
I think the Braves have them in a lineup. I think the Braves have the better. That's a big statement. I think the Braves have a better lineup than the Phillies with the whole Utley situation.
I think their pitching isn't that far behind either.
Oh, it's far behind.
I mean. But their pitching's so underrated that
it is. I mean, Jair Joseph is back healthy. You still got Derek Lowe there, and Tim Hudson had a great season last year. They're throwing out Kawakami. They're going to shop him, but they have a couple guys come in. Freddie Freeman, their new first baseman, he's going to put up some serious numbers. I think that lineup's loaded, and like I said, I think Tommy Hanson's going to put up some serious stuff this year. I like the Braves to take the NL wild card.
All right, that's about all we have for this first part. But just before we move on to the second part, our producer Scott just messaged me with his picks for...
Like anybody cares, but...
Yes, I know. Okay. He has the Red Sox, Twins, Angels, Braves, Cardinals, and Giants. And as for the AL wild card, the Yankees, the NL, the Phillies.
Wait, who does he have winning the NL East?
For the NL East,
Braves?
yes, the Braves.
That's tough. Everybody likes the Braves. Yeah,
right.
I think the Angels are a big pick there to the West. I heard the Angels is a pretty good pick.
Did I hear the Giants in the West?
Yeah, Giants are good. I mean, they won the World Series. They have the same team, so I mean that's not shocking. I just think that lineup isn't as good. You know what? Pablo Sandoval, 300-pounder last year. He's down to 200 pounds. He's lost 50 pounds, and I think 50 to 100 pounds this offseason. He looks. If you type in Pablo Sandoval, he looks like a stick. He's real thin this year. I think he can put up those back to those number 2 years ago. I think Pablo Sandoval is a breakout candidate this year.
All right, well, we have much more on the way. We're cutting this a little short in terms of what we've had for the last couple of weeks.
How much minutes is this?
This was around 16, probably.
We had like a 30-minute last.
Yeah, I know. Okay,
yeah.
all right. So we'll see.
Last show was weak.
We will see you. We will see you in part 2.
All right.